What are the dangers of life in Malaysia? What snakes can be lifted only by the efforts of several people? And is it true that the largest snake in the world is as long as the ancient giant Titanoboa? Today, you'll know the answers to these questions and all the most interesting details about the largest reptiles of the planet. In this episode, I'll show you the biggest snakes which were caught on camera. They are worlds only. Bumping into a huge snake in the streets is quite a creepy experience. Even if the snake isn't venomous, it still makes you uncomfortable. Now imagine how creepy it is to stumble upon a venomous, huge snake in your own home. That's exactly what happened a few years ago to a guy named Derek Yifan, who lives in Batu Pahat district of Malaysia. He posted a video on social media of a large cobra crawling towards his house. The snake first crawled toward the shoe rack on the porch and then made its way toward the door. The iron bars in front of the door may protect against burglars or large predatory mammals, but they're useless against a snake. As you can see, a giant cobra slid effortlessly through the bars and then rushed straight into Derek's house through the hole in the top. Luckily, no one was home at the time, so the snake didn't hurt anyone. Rescue workers soon arrived on the scene, naturalized the snake, and took it away from the residential areas. They also measured the reptile. Its length was about 2.5 meters. Not so much compared to other snakes I'll tell you about today, but at least this cobra can be called one of the largest snakes that have managed to penetrate into a human dwelling. Traffic jam. If you think snakes won't make you uncomfortable when you're in the car, you're wrong. Some snakes are so huge that they can cause an entire traffic jam of a bunch of cars. This is exactly what happened in Vietnam in early 2018. At that time, a huge cobra crawled onto the road of one of the provinces. As you can see in the footage, several cars stopped because the snake was in the roadway. First, brave motorists tried to get the cobra off the road by grabbing its tail. Then, several men used sticks to try to move the snake. That didn't help much, so they ended up picking it up and moving it out of the way. Of course, no measurements were made because drivers simply wouldn't do it, especially since a cobra is not a harmless python or a grass snake. These snakes are venomous, so it's unlikely that anyone would want to take the risk. But from the looks of it, the snake was about 4 or 5 meters long. It's not known what became of the reptile that disturbed the motorist, but according to some users, the snake did not go unpunished and later turned into soup. Snake from Florida. Florida is teeming with all kinds of snakes. Not surprisingly, some incredible giants can be found there. For example, in February of this year, near the city of Tampa, farmers found such a giant snake that at first they didn't even realize it was a reptile. They mistook the animal for a huge hose left by a neighbor. But it wasn't a hose, it was a Burmese python weighing 136 kilograms and reaching 5 meters in length. According to the farmers, the snake was not aggressive and was easily manipulated. They measured it, took some pictures, and even put some children near it. One of the pictures with the children gives a clear idea of how big the python was. It turned out, by the way, that it was a female python. The snake hunter who arrived at the farmer's house found out that there were about 100 eggs inside the snake. The snake hunter added that the farmers had made an invaluable contribution and without realizing it had done a good job. He said destroying one mother snake is much more important and easier than exterminating snakes singly in the woods, because the invasion of huge snakes in Florida has been a big state's problem for the last decades. Giant python. Florida never ceases to amaze. Well, in February of this year, a 5-meter monster was caught there. A few years earlier, Florida presented locals an even larger reptile. In 2017, a giant Burmese python over 5 meters long and weighing 60 kilograms was caught in Everglades National Park. This is an all-time record for Miami-Dade County in Florida, since the Python Elimination Program was launched in April 2017. Only a true professional could catch such a huge Burmese python capable of swallowing even an adult alligator. The catch was made by Jason Leon, a snake hunter known in certain circles. To bring a huge python into the field office, Jason needed the help of his colleagues. They even took a picture together of them all holding the giant snake. The footage speaks for itself. The python is truly huge, so it can rightfully be included in the list of the largest snakes caught in history. Do you think that only cobras and Burmese pythons are among the most gigantic snakes in the world? No way. Among these giants, there are also world-famous anacondas, which sometimes amaze with their incredible size. Stay tuned to see some record-breaking anacondas caught. Learn about an 8-meter-long reptile found in Malaysia and see a snake that could compete with Titanoboa itself. Let's move on. Anacondas are some of the largest snakes on the planet, as well as the heaviest snakes in the world. On average, an individual of this species weighs from 30 to 70 kilograms, but anacondas weighing 100 and even 200 kilograms have also been found in nature. As for the length, on average, the length of anacondas is 4 to 5 meters, but even among such supergiants, there are some incredible exceptions. A few years ago, a video shot in the Amazon River appeared on the internet. 3 fishermen were rafting down the river and fishing when suddenly they came across a truly enormous anaconda, which had also fed shortly before their arrival. This can be seen from the bloated belly. The size of this anaconda is unknown because the fishermen didn't measure it, but according to many people, the snake exceeded 5 meters in length. Had it been measured, it probably would have surpassed the largest documented anaconda, which reached 5.21 meters in length. It would seem that you should stay away from such a giant. Even if the anaconda is not venomous and full, it doesn't like uninvited guests. However, one of the fishermen began to pull its tail and tried to lift the snake over the water. He didn't succeed. The snake did not fight back hard and simply swam away. As for the fisherman, he received a generous dose of hate on the internet for his antics, as well as a fine of $600 from the authorities for environmental damage. Malaysia python. Reticulated pythons are considered some of the largest snakes in the world. They regularly grow to 5, 6, or even 7 meters in length. But even among such giants, there are supergiant ones. One of them is the reticulated python, which was caught by construction workers in the Malaysian state of Penang in 2016. Even from the pictures, it's clear that the snake is very big. You bet, 8 meters in length and 250 kilograms of net weight. Despite the fact that reticulated pythons are not considered particularly aggressive reptiles, the construction workers needed 30 minutes to completely neutralize the giant. After measurements were taken, this python was unofficially recognized as the largest snake in the world at the time. The giant even briefly broke the record of Medusa, a snake that's now officially considered the longest in the world. Medusa, by the way, is also a reticulated python, but it's female. So why did the giant break the record only briefly? Unfortunately, a couple of days after it was caught and taken to the local serpentarium, it died. No official measurements were ever taken, but unofficially, the Malaysian giant is unequivocally one of the largest snakes in history. Brazilian monster. In 2016, workers were constructing a dam in the Brazilian state of Pará. To build the dam, they had to carry out a series of blasting operations near a cave in the municipality of Altamira. This is quite a standard procedure. I'm sure the workers didn't expect anything unusual from it, and they certainly did not expect that during the blasting work, part of the walls of the cave would collapse and a giant anaconda would come out. The animal was of enormous size. It reached 10 meters in length, weighed about 400 kilograms, and its body girth was 1 meter. The workers were not able to lift the monster by themselves, so they had to weigh the snake with a construction crane. If the Guinness Book of Records representatives had been called immediately, this anaconda could have become a world record holder. Unfortunately, the workers didn't call anyone. Their words are not a strong argument to put the snake in the Guinness Book of Records, so the found individual is one of the largest reptiles in the world, only unofficially. It's also impossible to find this snake to carry out normal official measurements because it's not clear what exactly became of it. According to one version, it was released, and according to another, workers finished it off for fear it would cause harm. Record holder. While people all over the world argue about who managed to catch the world's largest snake, Indonesians are watching from the sidelines. As a rule, they don't enter into arguments because they're sure that the record breaker was caught in Indonesia, and it happened quite a long time ago. In 2003, the inhabitants of an Indonesian village caught a python that was 15 meters long and weighed about 450 kilograms. The python was caught in the village of Curug on the island of Java. I must say the Indonesians do not lie. There are quite a few shots of this huge snake on the internet which show that it's truly colossal. Even the notorious Titanoboa snake would be surprised by such a giant. It's not known what became of the snake in the end, but it is known that it never received the title of official record holder. The measurements were taken only by the locals, not by the official representatives of the Guinness Book of Records. So the incredible python is only an unofficial record holder. But to me, that doesn't matter. The pictures and videos speak for themselves. This snake is monstrously huge. I think there's only one like it in the world. That's all, guys. Which giant snake from this episode impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.